Good morning, everyone. It's 11:01 on the clock. Of course, 11 is justice, truth, and balance, alignment, and the 1 is the magician. We're going to take a few deep breaths, and then we're going to get started. Some really amazing messages. I saw bats this morning again in my backyard, which I've been here over 30 years, and that never happens. And there were 3 crows out front, and as soon as I went out to look, 1 left and 2 remained. That was crazy because there were 3 the other day that I said, you know, here they come, walking down the street. That kind of energy was coming up. Let's go ahead and take our 3 deep breaths first, and I'll go into some of the other stuff that came up. And yeah, we'll go there. So let's go ahead and take our deep breaths. Take a deep breath. Pull in that white light through your crown, wrap it around your heart, and diffuse it out through your chest, to your arms and your legs, to your head, to your crown, out through your auric bodies, out to your home, to your neighborhood, wherever you'd like it to go. You can send it to a person, a place, a thing. And one more deep breath. Sending lots of love and blessings out to everybody. Thank you so much for being here with me. And I hope you're having an amazing day. It's a beautiful sunny day here. In the name of God, I'm grounded to the earth. Okay. So besides the bats that were flying in my backyard, and I noticed them at dinner time last night as well. I'm like, where did these bats come from? I've never noticed bats in my yard. And then the 3 crows out front this morning, just now, where 1 just flew away and left the other 2. And I had amazing dreams this morning about my beloved, which I never have dreams like that. Yeah, okay, and today is the 16th, which is the Tower, and the day adds up to 29, which is the 3 of Wands. For me, that's being very present in the moment, to your gifts as well. And yeah, let's get started with this first read. I actually fell asleep before I finished watching a movie, Persuasion, last night, which again is being persuaded to go against your better knowing and do something that wasn't according to your heart. Yeah, and here is the message of the day. I'm going to show you a few other pictures too, but first here's the first message I'm going to show you. So this is my 3-deck Metatron, Nature's Whispers, and Shaman Dreams deck. These are the underlying energies, and I use a little bit of the cards beneath that, like 2 to 3 cards usually, sometimes 4, for the underlying message. So underlying for all 3 decks. And then the way they came out was organically, just the way they wanted to come out when I shuffled. Right, so like 1, 2, and 1, for example. So this is all the Metatron deck. And then Nature's Whispers, just the 2 cards came out today. I just want to get a close-up of those cards because they have a lot of detail in them. And then the cards I had to count is that pile at the end that you see spread out as well. And at the bottom, the Shaman Dreams, same thing. The cards that came out horizontally, and then the pile I had to count here at the end. So something else I wanted to show you was yesterday when I was in the shower, and I think I've noticed one of my tiles before. There are a couple tiles I've noticed some images in that were very significant. The first time I noticed this in the tile in the bathroom was many years ago when my grandmother started coming through, and she would send me hearts, and I noticed that in the tile. That was one of her messages. But I have to show you some of these pictures because there were messages in them regarding some stuff that was coming up here. So the first one I noticed was in the shower, and this you can see very clearly the lion energy there. Let me see if I can clear that up a little bit. So there's a lion energy here, but you notice too, there's a very profound child face wrapped up in the lion as well. It's like they have a this lion's eye and the lion's eyes here. This is coming up on the child like they're skiing or something, and maybe their goggles on or something like that. But you see them, the child's profile face, literally cuddling up to the lion's face and cuddling. This is also a rabbit. It depends on your perspective and how you're seeing it. There's multiple children here as well. Okay, you can see that in multiple faces. There's another child's face up here. All right, so I want you to practice your own abilities of seeing these other perspectives. There were so many pictures in this regarding the lion and the children at play, which was a very beautiful energy. But then when I went to, I was just getting Mercury too in this next photo of the same thing. But you see this wisp coming in of light, of whiteness. It's like the force of the messenger, but it kind of like has that lion-like, monkey-like energy as well. Kind of a cross between a lion and a monkey. And then what I wanted to show you, there were so many energies. I'm not going to show you all of them. But this was the hearts that my grandmother, this is on the floor by my toilet actually. And these are the hearts that my grandmother had sent to me at one message many years ago. But you notice in this whole tile, there's like a ship coming in here, and there is a flag staking their claim and their territory. It's like coming to the new land. Okay, there's a lot of other energies in there as well. And then I have to show you some of the really close-up ones. They were so beautiful. So here is also, I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this one, but it's really beautiful. Seeing the gold-like energies. There's literally a man here, and it's like he has either a blow dryer or he's holding a flashlight in his hand, and he's either on his knees with the flashlight like a plumber would be, or he's got a blow dryer and he's blowing dry some wetness up here on the roof, and there's another person literally. You see the hand coming in right there? See the hand offering other equipment to this person over here? So really cool images there. And then this one was getting kind of dark, okay? So I was getting like a hostage here, and you see the shadow of this mean woman up here? You see her face right here? Sorry, I'm not... See her face right there, the shadow woman? And then there's a hostage down here in a chair. But it goes into more deeply than that, because if you look at this whole picture, which I expanded that same picture, let me get this light out of the way, it's showing too much reflection. When I show the whole picture there, you can see more images of other people watching in as well. And she is actually stuffing something in somebody's mouth right here as well. And there's another like ET energy right below her. Let's see. All right, and there's another dark energy here. See this? This is literally someone being dunked, and you see his butt cheeks right here because his pants are coming off. See his legs? It's like he's either tied and hung upside down on a mountain, or he's being dunked, you know, like in a negative way. And I got that in an image a couple years ago too about someone, you know, dunking techniques as far as torture. And this is above the other pictures I just showed you. Yeah, so you can see that this, along with the other woman, where is she? So here is the one being dunked at the top. And then here's that dark woman over here. And there's other energies in here as well, and in a negative sense. But you can see them for yourself, whatever comes up for you. There's lots of different ways you can see that, and there's definitely ETs. So then I wanted to show you this other one, where, let's see if I can find that one. The ETs are literally, well, this one's a really loving one. So here's like the puppy love energy. Look how beautiful that is. It's, you know, like two puppies loving each other. And then we have, there's one where they are all, Let me see if I can find that one. It's not that one. I'm not seeing the perspective right now, but there's one with, see if I can find it. Give me 1 second. This was an important one. Oh, it's this one here. Okay. All right. If you notice this picture here, I don't know if you can see it. You have to get the perspective correct. But there's a whole line of hostages here. And here's an ET, looks like a gray, laying back, enjoying himself. And if you really look closely, there's two guys over here peeking in like there's a two-way mirror. And they're kind of getting off on this. There's all these, like this is, see all the people here in the chairs? They're all like hostages tied up. And then here's an ET, like a gray type of energy, and sitting back enjoying it with the people peeping in. So there's some really dark energies that were coming up. And what was coming up regarding that for me was, you know, like the stories of the bridges that were built and the men who fell into the cement and died that way, you know, what a torturous death. And this is marble. And I was getting the energies of people who did that work, and like how old was the marble, like how many, you know, thousands of years did it go back, and what kind of energy does it carry when they're actually excavating that product, you know, to sell. So it's very interesting, just something to feel into and see what comes up for you. Let's roll the die, and then we're going to get right into this Metatron Nature's Whispers and Shaman Dreams read. All right, so for the die, for the twins today again is the 16th of July, and we have the energy of Mars coming up here. Is that, yeah, Mars. I get that confused with the Saggy on the other die. Okay, or the other dice. Okay, we have Capricorn here. So Capricorn's related to Saturn and restriction, the father energy, and then the 12 is here, which is the Hanging Man, which can be Pisces or Capricorn for me, and it is the month of December as well, which is Sagittarius and Capricorn. So we have Mars, which is usually related to Scorpio and Aries, Capricorn, and then the energy of Pisces or Capricorn as well. So Pisces, Capricorn, and then aggressive energy, and the 12 just came up as well. And that's having to do with the 12 who decided to contract with the ETs back in, you know, the 50s to allow in the kidnapping of, I think it was prisoners. And there's that energy. I was just getting, somebody was just talking about prisoners too, and prisoner redeeming. So it's definitely, it's confirming the prisoner stuff, that picture I just showed you, like the hostages of the ETs. That's why it's coming up. Okay, so getting into this first message. Okay, this was done at 8:30 to 33. And the 8 is the Strength card of doing the dance of manifestation, the 30 of the home and the union, going to 33, which is that Christ vibration or unity consciousness. And 54 has been really significant coming up a lot, which is the Page of Swords, the message. It's also an immature energy, right? An immature message, or the message of a child. Or it also can be very short, or perhaps needs more maturing, that type of energy. but it is about the message. And then Mercury just came up, so it's about getting the message out. The underlying energy, the bottom of the card for the Metatron deck was Duality, the 23, which is the King of Wands. The bottom of the deck for Nature Whispers was Love Matters, which is 43, the Three of Cups. And the bottom of the deck for Shaman Dreams was 36, which is the Atlas energy, the 10 of Wands, called Lost in Space. So I went 3 cards down in each of the underlying energies for each of the decks here, and this is the message. Tweaking the world and crystals in your hands, and the King of Cups needing to look up. I totally forgot that I had my coffee on. Give me a sec. Okay guys, sorry about that. I was wondering, I thought I smelled something burning. I did that once before when I was videoing with you guys. Sorry about that. Oh my, okay. So don't want to burn anything down. All right, and oh, that's reminding me to bring up the fires. I guess that's why that happened. A lot of stuff was coming up regarding fires yesterday, the droughts around the world and the fires that are happening. And so some of that comes up here as well. So the King of Cups needing to look up, which was just me in that moment to take my coffee off the stove. But I was also getting the masculine energy, the children as well, the baby brothers and the sons, and the coddling, the energy of mine and not wanting to share. It was coming up as the King of Cups off balance and duality down as opposed to looking up. With the new dawn, the sun's up and Dear Prudence was coming up. That's from the Beatles' White Album, if some of you aren't familiar. Dear Prudence. So the line that was coming up was, the sky is blue, it's beautiful, and so are you, dear Prudence. Won't you come out to play? So you might want to look at the lyrics at least for Dear Prudence. So in the transition of the King of Wands being off balance, in duality, off to the side. So side and down were coming up regarding the King of Cups and the King of Wands here. And then the 23, the 43, and the 36, which is the King of Wands coming together. And now I'm getting the Beatles again. Come together right now over me. So the King of Wands coming together. Or perhaps a child, a brother, not just the divine masculine, but with the weight of the world on his shoulders, replacing one burden with another, whether it's work, it's weight, it's obligation, not loving self. And be true to your own heart, which is the 26 of the Page of Wands. In a wake-up call, in judgment, a fresh approach to wholeness, complete and putting the world down, right? Not carrying that load. To socialize and play, enjoy and love and peace instead. Allowing the 18 of the subconscious, the dark, the unknown, to rise above the fray, because that can be romance as well. Destined to dive right into that dark water, the deep ocean water, and get lost in space. And notice the reference of water and air there. Needing direction when overwhelmed, with the weight of the world in your hand. The King of Wands is the carrier pigeon, afraid to get lost in space, literally. Excuse me. So birds of prey were coming up. And perhaps girls when they pray. The birds of prey and the King of Wands afraid of intuition because it's the unknown. Remember intuition, my interpretation of intuition is in, twit, ion, which is in the twin tower of you and I, connection. And right at that moment, it was 9:08, which is the 9 of the Hermit, the 8 of the Strength card, and the dance. I had just put my foot up on the corner of my table right here. So right here is the corner of my table, but it's a nice smooth wood corner, right? So it's not too sharp, but it's sharp enough. And I just put the bottom of my foot up there, and I was guided to run that corner all the way down my foot in the center, from my heel down to my toes. And oh my God, the pain in the middle of my foot. So remember, your foot holds all your energy lines. And so I was being guided to hold a lot of those pressure points to release. And it was all on my left side because it was my left foot that I was doing this on. And realizing, you know, how easy it is to feel on the heel, which you're used to, right? Because you step on your heel in the ball of your foot, but not in the middle where all your organs are. And even when I massaged my own inner foot, I wasn't feeling the pain I felt like when this corner was sticking into my foot. So it's a reminder not to neglect our feet, needing a massage, perhaps literally sticking something in there, but not hurting yourself. It does hurt, but it's like holding a stuck muscle and just breathing into it until it releases on its own. Also allowing the pain, knowing that you know, it's just like a sore muscle that if you work out and massaging that muscle, right? You're releasing by holding the pain and going into it, you're releasing it. So again, only do what is resonating with you and what's according to your own guidance as well. But that was coming up for me. Especially, I went into the top of my foot too, not just where the ball of your foot is, but over that, because right underneath your toes, like the second two toes besides your big toe are the eyes, and then the ears, I think, are the next two toes. And so I wanted to feel what it felt like under my eye toes because I always had dry eyes. And boy, was that sore in there too. So you might want to check into your feet or get a massage of your feet. And then I saw a boy walking by the house who reminded me of one of my nephews. So again, a lot of this energy about a lot of young men, right? Brothers and boys, and 9/18 was coming up, which was my birthday. And then reflecting other people's birthdays as well. And the 16th was coming up, which is today. And I did this yesterday. So the 16 of the Tower, which is today's energies. And then I went into the read. The first card was go with the flow with the 42. And it was bringing up this energy between weight and weight. So weight as in your body weight and weight as in waiting. And when I first saw the time, it's 9:16. For some reason, when I looked at it really quick, I thought it said 9:36. But when I looked back at it, the clock, it was 9:16, not 9:36. But the 36 is the Atlas energy, the weight of the world. And is where it was coming up between the weight of the mass and the weight of the waiting time of the world. And then again, the weight issues that a lot of us have, or we think we have anyway. And going with the flow regarding Friday, and TGIF was also coming up. Thank God it's Friday, right? The end of the stress and unhappiness, right? To be able to go into the weekend of happiness. And why are you waiting until Friday to do that? And the movie Heavy also came up the other night, which wasn't just heavy in weight, but heavy in life in general. So the foot massage was coming up, the movie Heavy with the heavy and weight. The whole also coming up regarding the whole with a W and the whole without it, right? The emptiness, right? The whole is full and the other whole is empty. It's all in the perspective of which way you look at the word. Remember that gravity has to do with weight, the heaviness of the situation. And the opposite is the weightlessness of being lost in space. The sibling rivalry of one who will always love you by proxy. And hoarding was coming up. And there's all these energies regarding by proxy of something not being the original, not being the first one, and instead satisfying or settling for replacement person or substitution, right? Not the original one. So feeling unworthy of light, which means heavy or dense. Dense and heavy also means fat and stupid association. Also associated with being sweet and kind. No sex life for the heavy. Conversion to muscle weight. The egghead versus the bad egg. The big and the bad. The lean and the mean. And all of these phrases we use to stereotype. Also in shape. On weight. Hoarding. And fat eating versus obsessive compulsive and skinny, anorexia and bulimia. Food imbalances, starvation, withholding versus engulfing, binging, the Gulf Wars, and never enough, or always too much. And it all always comes down to attachment versus resistance. The sexual organs not working properly, dysfunctional, unable to feed. These are the meanings of these things. So if you have sexual organs, which you deem as or literally have issues with, not working properly or dysfunctional, you deem yourself as unable to feed or provide your children, unable to resist. And this can be either like the feminine, unable to take care of her children, or the masculine being over-sexualized, unable to resist and persists. Starving versus fasting, speeding up the metabolism instead of fasting, and then the energy of half empty versus half full. And starve literally is star and V, light and creation, with focus. And then starving is withholding the focus. So there's all of these energies, whatever, see what triggers you, and something that you might need to go into because it triggered you now. So at the 42, back to the cards, the 42 is the Two of Cups and going with the flow at 9:35, which is the Hermit and the Wounded Warrior. And I noticed at that point, after I kind of lanced my left foot by running that corner of the table down my foot very slowly and held it at certain points, now my tummy was making lots of noise because there was releasing going on, especially on the left. So there's definitely something that was being released by doing that. The word magnificent then came up later on this page, but the mag of magnesium, but also magnification were coming up to accentuate those energies. And also the word I and E, because it came up in the read the other day, but I didn't define that. And when I put I and E into a Wiktionary first, the definitions came up for one instead, which was interesting. But realize that I and E is I, any. It's like the I am presence is any and all, that type of energy. So go with the flow on the canoe whispering bench, the canoe with sharp edge that cuts through the water, the emotions like a knife, lancing a wound to get rid of the infection, the intentional wounding, to heal in the proper direction. So again, breaking it down to rebuild again at 9:39, which is the Hermit and the Knight of Cups. The salt river, the clear, and which way you face the mountain. The river always goes the easy way, where doors are open. Where closed, they change direction. But what about space, when wind is still and water is not flowing, and still waters run deep and sink, and stale air feels heavy and stinks? To help with directions? Dirty, the bottom, and soot, the brown and black, the density of the earth and the heaviness of what you can't see is the unknown, all natural here. Now you see it, now you don't. The day, the night, Doris and Gladys, dog and God, Dan and Nad, which Nad is testicles, over, above, and the greatest of all, which is coming up the Whitney Houston song, but was also coming up yesterday. Somebody was talking about Capricorn and the Devil card. And for me, I never see Capricorn as the one who's mostly addicted, except for addicted to, right, climbing that mountain and being the best, the king of the mountain, which is coming up in my read, but it's also being the greatest of all time, right, conquering the world. So The definitions of NAD and the Dan and NAD is the reverse of Dan, just like dog and God, is the energy of the Dan family, or the Dananites. The Dan tribe or the Dananites come up again is that energy of the testicles and being the greatest one of all. Unity in your, the Cain and Abel was coming up right there, and the reed, which is tall, stiff, and grass-like, growing together in groups near the water. It's also to see, and also mercy and peace and help and rest. And also that energy of being super, to surpass, outdo, be on top of, add on to. And then the Jew came up here of that Jesus energy. Reversing that is W-E-J. And the Jew is the J-E, which is I in French, and the W, which is to use. I, to use, the Jew. And then W-E-J can be we as J, which is the Jesus energy, but it's also you too. Uneven, imperfect, partially. It also means just the W. Also it means no, not, and whoops. The Two of Cups, 1-to-1. Communicate for freedom, change, expansion, and the message in the bottle that you are. Express in a creative, playful way. So there's many options. It's Thanksgiving every day. You are what you eat and you consume. You are magnificent and whole and balanced and ageless at 1023. Destined King of Wands, the man of passion. Healthy, wealthy, and wise and satisfied. The variety being the spice of life, the textures and colors and tastes, and salt water that you are. The sea? You're supposed to be salty. And then iodine came up, which is Io, which is I in Italian, and then dine. I-dine is iodine. So when I put in I and E, here's where all the definitions of one came up, which you can imagine all of that. So then I had to go back and put I and E in again, which is number 4 as opposed to number 1, and water, and I, and the jaguar, and the inn. The cat with a stable place to stay with water, but without divine feminine food or company, sustenance, or in other words, no fish food. For Jesus, no Mary Magdalene. He lives in Central or South America or a British vehicle and eats meat. The jaguar is J-G-U-R. And UR was coming up, one of the definitions of UR is tumor, which is literally saying two more. Pause to come together to receive healing, the 43 of coming together, and stretch, especially your feet, perhaps on a step. You know how you do and hang your heels over the step and stretch your feet. Okay. So at 1054, which is destiny of the Page of Swords in that message, is the white of the 51, the King of Swords, of purity and innocence. Letting go of the 4 from spring to fall. And 4 can be several things. It can be the Emperor. It can be safety and stability and building. It can also be that level of survival as opposed to manifesting dreams. From spring to fall. As feathers and leaves fall, it's time for release, to purify. And when purifying, remember to flush with water, 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 and release. Stretch your feet too. So again, things that they're reminding us to do that we forget so often. So purifying and letting go, the King of Swords becomes an emperor, or at least survives with that 4. The castle on a cloud in the purple moon, with Jupiter and Ganymede, a moon of Jupiter, and a message of higher realms and magic, Mother God and the inner child, and music, which is the muse of the inner child, Mother and us, the inner children. The 17 cards that came up at the end of this read, at the bottom of it all is the Mother Blue, the 29 of being present with their gifts, and at the top of it all, at the top of the hill, is the dimensional gateway, the 33 of that Christ vibration, and standing up for oneself. The JC and Mary Magdalene, or the Mother and Son, healing him, hands in an energy wave, top down. She holds, he releases, the message of the day. In an invitation to the Golden Gate, God's grace, the two spirals that come together in the aqua rose gold heart, the 33s, the old 45s, with compassion at sunset each day. Under the boardwalk, having some fun, and walking the plank, or plank, which is the longitudinal lines, that fire line, or that fine line, of the 40 and the Page of Cups evolution, birthing the new heart, the child balanced in their divine masculine and divine feminine, the carpenter bee pollinating buttercup from magical joy and happiness, showering in white diamond crystal light for clarity on your shadow, meditation as the divine masculine seeks entry into your heart. The rites of passage, putting the quote-unquote dog humping side aside for the heart, which was so funny because when I was in Atlanta visiting my daughter, I was giving her a back massage on the bed, and then I laid down when I was finished just to give her a hug, and her dog, Teddy Bear, who's just turning 1, he's just a puppy, he jumps on top of the two of us and trying to hump us. It was the funniest thing I'd ever seen. Okay, so talk about, humping here. So again, regarding putting the dog humping aside for the heart, the fire dragon, the strength of the sun to be able to change his perspective, seeing the compassion of the buttercup, heart and light, and taken aback, and referencing me just massaging my daughter's back, the stunned, dazed, and confused, as the dolphin is the vehicle of emotional well-being, the water and crystal light, the conception through the meditation of the heart, allowing the air, fire, and water to enter the earth and ground the family circles, the humans for heaven on earth, which both contain EA, which is emotional attachments, which is attachments to the earth, or, in other words, gravity of the situation, the degrees of separation, 6 in a coiling at the child's pose, the wounded warrior at birth, skinned, unprotected, completely vulnerable, and which way he goes nobody knows until the next junction at coming of age, finding his view of what it means to be a human, part woman, and now getting wish to travel with family, the orangutan or orange forest or veggie man, seeking the gold, the gate of unity consciousness, red light, green light, blushing and green, excited to adventure out and see the new world, the indigo star, the whole, the bright, and the coming full circle, in the round, under the big top. And if you've never listened to that rap, the big top, I think it's called the big top. It's beautiful. Check that out. I don't know who the singer is, but. And then under the big top, the dreidel was also coming up, and I couldn't remember how dreidel was spelled, so I first just wrote it down phonetically with DRADLE, which is Dr. Adel, which means disease, doctor disease, to knight them, raise them, urine on them. The rites of passage were coming up here. So the dreidel is spelled DREIDEL, which is the spinning top under that big top, to turn and twist, to rub, drill, pierce, and to, I was just getting pierce in MASH, the Monster MASH. It was a graveyard smash. It's talking about, it's making me cry actually, because it has to do with the people in war, not the party. Sorry, it's just the energy coming up. So the dreidel of the spinning top, to turn, to twist, to rub, to drill, to pierce, or colonel, I forget what his status was, but pierce, to revolve and spin, which dreidel broken down is the dray of the 3. So why is a 4-sided die? And is it 4 sides? Because there's actually the bottom 2, which would be 5. So why is that coming up as a definition of 3? But dray is 3, dry, we, and Then del is the second half of the word, which is the symbol of an arrow pointing down, a triangle that's skinny, pointing down, which is the gradient operator, which is also degrees, the angle of the pyramids. And then the other symbol of del is the backward 6, the partial differential context. The part, the portion, delegate, delete, or published work, to exit, to go out, foliage, leaves, brown falcon, share, proportion, portion, section, the dune valley, the small depression in the landscape, the trollop, the floozy, and from the one's fate. Part, entitled to. Intensity, serenity, and degree. Unit, word, to give, God, day, pretty, down, and to dig. All of these things came up under del. So it's coming up regarding delta, like the triangle is the two rivers coming together, the delta. So dreidel is the top down and spiraling. The 3 with the arrow down like on an elevator, or looks like the backward 6 with the 3 actually looks like a 32 the way we write, and the 2 being unfinished, which is the 36, backward 6, the 3 and backward 6 looks like the 32, which is the journey of we, dry 3, delegate, delete, or publish, to share small depression in landscape of floozy, our fate, our entitlement, our word, our giveness. We, dry 3, God, day, and pretty. At 6 degrees of separation. We, dry 3, dig our own hole. The indigo hole, complete with star, light, and ash. The 2 diamonds, the twin diamonds in the sky enmeshed. The electromagnetic radiation of the twin flames untying the karmic knots at 0-point field. The quantum energy, 6 degrees of separation, spiraling human, lifted up and raised instead at 11:57, which is justice and the separation. Instead of digging our own hole, opening a portal. So a different way of dying, okay? The 10 of Cups, the happy family, the emotional fulfillment, from spirit with love. The Queen of Wands, stretching and lunging. The orangutan again, to swing and release like Tarzan, to reach for the trees. The 17 of the star and dreams and conquering your fears, one step at a time. Stretch your feet. Defeat. While the Divine Feminine is stretching her feet, the Divine Masculine is opening a page that's unwritten and opening a window in the Akash, the wise man hanging and reviewing their lifeline, and there's that reference to Jesus' lifeline of the Divine Masculine twin flames, and discover the Knight of Wands' passion and love for life as the Mother holds space, blue and present with gifts, and guided stars over the head, or star, their guiding star over their head. So then Bethlehem was coming up, and the star of Bethlehem, again broken down, is B to the nth degree, L'chaim, to life, from the Jew and the whore, which is broken down. Jew is I to use, and the whore is who are who re, which is like whose reference. I to use, and so who's your reference that you're telling me that I am to use? Which who? Sally Lou or the who, the original? And I thought who was first and what's per second. Tommy, can you hear me? Ground control to Major Tom, blind, deaf, and dumb, and very sensitive. From a higher ground, a fresh approach to love matters, or love matters. 13 of the death and transition, the renewal of peace. The innocent in the dell, the farmer in the dell, Jesus in the manger, transitioning through the 45 of the purge into the Divine Feminine empowerment with the sons backing her up. They're really good at making funny jokes. So they're referencing again my puppy trying to hump the both of us. So the Divine Feminine empowerment with the sons backing her up with a vision from his perspective of the perfect view. She. She may be the face I can't forget, a trace of pleasure or regret, may be the treasure or the price I have to pay. She may be the song that summer sings, may be the chill that autumn brings, may be 100 different things within the measure of a day. And I'm going too low. But you can look up the lyrics of She, because there's many verses that are very beautiful. At 2:17, and Spirit's really connecting with me. She. 12 and 17, the hanging man and the star. And remember Julia Roberts on the screen when they start playing She in the beginning, right? The famous one with that big smile, and how beautiful that song is because they're showing this face with this song and how perfectly they resonate together. The 12:19 of the hanging man and the sun, the 23 of the king of wands, that you are worth it, as the 46 of the children loving each other, the past life mates, your best friend of all time, the gratitude and appreciation of the little girl princess, adores her unicorn, he and she, and you notice that he is a part of she, and mother and child, the 6 of the cosmic womb, the divine feminine, the platform for the father, with a hole in the wall. Remember, the father is the wall built to protect them, but the feminine is the hole put in the wall, right? Just in case we need to get out. The 56 of the 2 of swords, and being in your knowing. And then the wailing tree of the 59, which is the war within. Seeing the wailing tree from the inside is the wall with the hole in it. And they were right next to each other. Maybe I could show you those 2 cards. The wailing tree. That's 59 and 23. So here's the 59. Maybe they're still together. Nope. So where are you? 23. There it is. That's not the right one. It is the wall is 56. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong number. 56. 23 is that the one that looks like it's the Wheel of Fortune. It looks like the collider. So these are the 2 cards coming up together. Okay, so this is from within the tree. This is from without the tree. So just get that image. See the different perspectives. Okay, from within it doesn't look so bad, although it's a prison. And then from without, other people seeing the person wailing to get out. The war within. And reconciliations. Over here is the obstacles, is getting out. So that was, I just had to show you that because they came up side by side. From inside, in that wailing tree there, it is a dark but magical place, with light dancing in the white, pink-purple hues, bringing the dull wood to life. The angle of the keyhole creates an eye to see, not wanting to be seen in there, knowing and keeping special secrets to oneself. But from the outside, we see a tree, the war within, and the one distraught and trying to get out, the woman in a shoe inside a trunk, looking for a way to free the divine feminine within. Purging and reconciliations, where the only way out is through the leaves at the top of the tree, which is your pride, your children, what you leave behind. The fool's embrace, and I want to say progeny. But it's your legacy, right? Your children, your grandchildren, what you leave behind. The only way out is in, right? Through your legacy. The fool's embrace of transmuting pain. So there's that image again of the fool in child's pose as a human begins their journey as a man in child's pose, skinned and completely vulnerable to the world because of the wounds they've created already from being in their animal forms. So then I stopped to check online my video, and the Washington Monument came up, and so I looked it up, and it was closed Friday after a strange smell. So there's that smell thing came up in the definition already, something that stinks. So there was a strange smell in the Washington Monument, and remember that these type monuments are getting hit. They were told it wasn't gas on the 8th of July, but a couple backed up floors. So there's the backing up again. The couple backed up floors, drains. This was July 8th, 22, that it was closed and reopened, I think, the 11th. And from the New York Post, it said the monument was reopened after 3 years of repair. And what else was closed for 3 years for repair? CERN. So there was a connection there. They were connecting the monument to CERN. September 19th, 19. 555-foot stone obelisk is closed September 16, so there's the 16 again coming up, to replace the elevator, which is a way out. July 21st, 19, turned into Saturn V rocket, the Washington Monument. They turned it into the Saturn V rocket, which was the first rocket up to the moon, for the Apollo anniversary. 9/2/2020, a task force by Mayor Bowser called for dozens of landmarks in D.C. to be removed or contextualized over ties to slavery here. And then there was another message of December 18th, 2020. That's when it first closed for COVID. And then January 23rd, 21 as well. On Wikipedia, which was the strangest thing of all, you know how there's always a picture on the side when you look it up from Wikipedia? The picture shows the monument on its side, having fallen to the left. It's not upright. That's insane, all right? So it's literally someone like doing some magic on the Washington Monument, because the picture from Wikipedia of the monument is not straight up. It's on its side to the left, as if it's fallen. The Fool's Embrace 22, of the tucked-in child's pose in a ball, and there's that cannonball energy of the ball displacing the water. The tucked-in child's pose in a ball on the orange ball, on the human, forest man, the veggie man, on the fool's journey to the 30 of the union. It's like going to the ball is coming up as well, like Cinderella. Home, the horseman, is heralding in the change. So again, that fool's embrace of the original human coming in to change paths from the wounded warrior's path and learning how to go on the fool's journey instead with an open heart. Starting out tucked in a child's pose, all in a ball, on an orange ball here, or an orange ball here, because you're run on your sacral energies, on the human forest man, which is that orangutan, which is orange. The forest man, the veggie man, the Tarzan, on fool's journey to the 30 of the home and union, the house, and the horseman coming in like the Knight of Wands, heralding change. And then Bend and Snap was coming up from Legally Blonde. I was just getting Legally Blind. Bend and Snap, as Milady Dorothy runs into the wicked witches flying monkeys. 13 is the transition, transitioning them to go back to sleep. A hairy being with claw-like hands pointing to a foreign land or a dream state. You are sleepy. Remember that there's no place like home, Dorothy. When those try to put you back to sleep. The dream catcher catching flies, or spider monkey trying to replace the baboon, Rafiki, without good intentions. Remember that Rafiki is the advisor of the king. A rogue flying monkey, so to speak. And the farther gate, which comes up as the Irish father gate, the 55 of the Ace of Swords, the 2 gates and the 2 suns, in a bold move, or Boulder, Colorado. So the Mallory Cave came up, opened October to March, off Mesa Trail and NCAR Trail Junction, and provided Bat Cave habitat for threatened big-eared bats, which I just told you have been coming up all over my yard since the full moon, and I've never noticed them before in 30 years. I can't say I've never seen a bat in the neighborhood, because I know they're there at night, but I've never seen bats on any kind of regular basis, and I'm seeing them nonstop since the full moon. And here's the big-eared bats, right? The ones who listen. They're listening in, like the fly on the wall. And they're like, actually, the bats are coming up as the flying monkeys. Monk Keys. January 7, 22, our cave tours, the Cave of the Winds that was established 1880 with over 20 lit rooms. This is still in Colorado, and 2 miles of limestone as well. Also the Manitou Cliff Dwellings, as well as the Glenwood Caverns Adventure Park, all were coming up around Colorado. And then the picture of the Nomad, Colorado, which was the Mallory Cave Trail and Boulder. So again, the monkey in the cave coming up here. At 108, the magician and the dream, with an artificial light, like the light bulb in my pictures of the sun, what looks like a light bulb. The picture I showed you where the sun looks like that light bulb for the South Pole. It's like this artificial sun is like a puff coming out from the South Pole, like it's an artificial sun. It was coming up like Puff the Magic Dragon from the South Pole, creating a false sun. Perhaps in a boulder there, right? So that like this energy of not Uluru, but something, the coloring's like Uluru, but the mountain is more pointy with King of the Mountain. And it's like they're, by actualizing the King of the Mountain, like a kid running up to the top and owning the mountain, they're able to create this puff of smoke, like Puff the Magic Dragon, only this is light, and it's an artificial sun. Perhaps a boulder there, or connection to Boulder, Colorado from the South Pole, or a connection to a company there in Boulder. So then the hollow bone came up, which is about the human hollowing themselves out, the twin flames, right, to be a voice or sound piece for God. And teachability, being humble as well. Hanging feathers from bones or moose. But there's an energy of darkness here where normally I don't get darkness from that card. Perhaps you'll know if you see feathers as ornaments hanging from a moose head or something like that, or someone's being guided to find something in a cave, or bones, but could be dangerous, or just be careful who you trust, and make sure it's the original. Cindy Lou Who, or the actual Who on first. The happy benefactors watching the show, abundant in their mushroom, going on a treasure hunt, X marks the spot, or watching around the world in 80 days with your beloved, which was just coming up as in my dream last night. Or the Empress and the High Priestess, or twin with abundant divine feminine, and hearts on fire in radical acceptance. The benefactor and the beloved, or B&B, or a cave getaway. The 22 of the Two of Cups and the Netcaster, where preparations have come to fruition. There's another destruction coming now of a cave or structure, or blowing out an opening to get in, to let the sunshine in. A discovery of a dark hideout, perhaps. The monkey man have a broken... This is a monkey man, or a monk-key man, someone who's isolated, who has a broken curved pointer finger on the left hand, identifying where to go, but you may be scared of something, perhaps heights or closed-in places, or hairy little guy who wears feathers a lot, or Batman disguise to lead you astray, that it's not the real Batman. Could be a scam couple here too, the spellcasters. So watch out for lots of feathers, or hairy monkey, or crooked, or with a crooked or sticky fingers, and space cadet. That could be the couple, right? Someone with sticky fingers, which can be a child too, with a mother type energy as the scam couple as well. Or spider monkey trying to be, or spider man trying to be Batman at 128. And there's nothing wrong with Spider-Man, but it is if he's trying to be Batman, because that's not who he really is. The 128 is the magician and the twins. Spider-Man trying to be Batman, or the web net man trying to be the caveman. 22 of the Fool's Journey, there's 22 cards coming up here, and the unmarked trail is at the bottom of it all. The unmarked trail, which is the 57, which is that 3 of Swords of separation, disappointment, and heartbreak. And at the top is the lay of the land, the king of the hill, the 34 of that energetic exchange back and forth, whether it's communication or travel or just energy. And nature under pressure at Uluru, and a revelation, the king of the mountain, the ancestral wisdom of energetic exchange and lots of back and forth. Under this false light sun are crop circles of spin and circles, or a speaker system and stretching upward. Very red sand here, or terracotta type color, on a big rock to be able to see down on the land from above, enabling the rock climber to see the crop circles. And then I was getting climb every mountain, ford every stream, until you find your dream. At 133 is the magician and the 33 of the Christ vibration and standing up for oneself as king of the mountain, king of your own life. There could be a CERN relationship here or concern issues here. The awareness of revolution or the avenue of revelation at the bottom of it, and the ancestral wish at the top down. Backing up or backing into to learn something, sourcing the stranger within, curious Knight of Swords, perhaps men with light language, and curious to dive in, will-o'-the-wisp and prison of the will, treasure to be found in the shadows, going through it in order to get to the other side. Why does the chicken cross the road? And that's so weird, because it looks like why church cross the RD, which is research and development. Why did the chicken cross the road, or why did the church cross the road? Well, because he already had done the vertical alignment thing. The 4 of the cat ER pillar, the 4 of the emperor of survival and building, the cat of the whispering bench at the emergency pillar, the CAT scans, the spines, the 33 of unity, consciousness, and sacrifice, the ERs, the men in pillars, and the bridges I just talked about of men, how they fell into the bridges and died in the cement, the whispering bench and survival, the opportunity to unwind or lose wind, or cat with a jag and beautiful pinks, an opportunity for structure to build with 2 cats. One may be compassionate and twisted, and one a musician or artist or dark cello, perhaps depressed. Opportunities to try and become inspired, or albino cat, and the really furry one, right? So there's a lot of opposites coming up in order to come to the middle, to come to a concession or conclusion, or come to an agreement. To try and become inspired, or albino cat with the really furry one, with brushes and instruments of play, as opposed to destruction. The 19 of the sun and the falling angel, falling asleep in the sun with many masks of the 38, the Queen of Cups, because the feminine has many selves in the way she expresses herself. She's just not one way all the time. The 64 is the 10 of Swords and the woodwives, the little extensions of the trunk that are adaptable to pain, right? This is the trunk of the emperor and their children extending from themselves, but parallel as opposed to growing upward. They're standing side by side, like the electrons around the neutrons and protons. They're adaptable to the pain and bliss of working around them. The sacred covenant, the unwritten, the 49, the sacred vehicle of ascension and self-satisfaction, the skywriting and the fates in synchronicity, in the clouds, and the deep quiet of 11, the meditation and stillness, the alignment at 147, the magician and the 7 of Cups of synchronicities. Reaching out without knowing what's on the other side, that's faith. And the dust, devil, the 15 of moving out of stagnation, or the stagnation. In a vortex of cloud, why the desert becomes that dry, the dust when the desert becomes that dry, the dust kicks up with no emotion or water to ground it. The 16 of the sudden events, the epiphanies and sexual exchange, and the time to replenish the empty well, the sudden realization that you need water or a fill-up. After all the emotions are spent, so again, you may be feeling like you're in a dry spell, like you're totally detached and nothing bothers you, right? But you're going into the polarity of being over-emotional to see both sides of the coin. And then the 60 of the Six of Swords and peace, peace of the watchers in the desert, transpersonal peace on earth, the totems and Kathmandu, Nepal, which is northeast of India, the heart home, the 27 of the third flame of compassion, the flame, the Himalayas, and the temples and gold domes on top. The 8-17-21 came up as a time when 127 people, including 9 Indians, land in Kathmandu from Afghanistan. And on July 13-22, a fire at Brikuti Mandap in Kathmandu, which was a wheelchair warehouse on fire. And then the energy of all the fires going on around the world, of many homes lost in the fires, and the horned cactus of resourcefulness, of closing the door, the number 5 of freedom, change, and expansion. Closing the doors, completing it. The fire and droughts are coming up, like radiation after the chemo and after surgery, right? Just to make sure it's gone. So the drought's coming up to burn it away, to make sure it's all gone. The 29 is the 3 of Wands, being present to the gifts. You are here to be independent, prickly and water inside, right? So prickly, right, with your natural guard up, and watery or emotional inside. The feast of plenty and choices and their consequences. The crystal ball, remember moderation in all consumed. 2 knives and a crystal ball is like the stone. I wrote stone and stone, but I meant the sword in the stone. But that can be the stone in the stone. Both of the twins must become one with that crystal to release the knives and unblock the abundance. So it's saying, in other words, just like in removing the sword from the stone is like the melting of the spoon, right? You have to become one with it in order for it to melt, and then the sword naturally comes out. But for the twins, there are 2 swords in the stone. But here it's being called the crystal ball. But in order for the twins to get the swords out of the stone, they have to do it simultaneously together. They both have to release. They have to become one and to release the swords together. The 52 of the Queen of Swords, straddling worlds between realms, sitting on the ball, bridging to another, blues and purple haze and violet cues here of the violet flame. The 46 of the children, the inner children, the root girl, disowning herself at 207, which is the High Priestess, and the Chariot, which is the feminine within the masculine, ascending. The Queen of Swords holding the gates open as the little root girl purges the old, the last of the old, to take their first breath into the new world, the 21 of being whole and complete, with the beginner's mind, the perpetual student of life and worlds. Spiraling planets, so much to learn. Listen to the earth, like putting your ear to the wall. It will tell you what's going on with CERN and discernment and learning about nature's pressure points, the separation from itself, the holes in the caverns, the drills in the taverns. Perhaps a crop circle about mazes and drills and crushing will arrive, or nature in a box delivered to your door with all that you need to grow something. CERN is affecting the water supply and nature. Man is attempting to triumph over nature as the king of the hill, but we all know what happens last time, and now only cutting off their noses to spite their face. Bounce back is a bitch. Okay, so there's that energy of, like, we know better now, learning to protect ourselves naturally by just putting our own spell around ourselves, that any negative energy that comes into us bounces back to sender with love. So at 2:14, which is Valentine's Day, back to the 5 cards and bottoms up, which was the 46 of the inner children with gratitude and appreciation, and at the top of it, the 23, the King of Wands, the King of the Mountain, that you are worth it, your vision of what your life should be, of 7 candles and that nook by the water, just the 2 of you and blossoming sunset, or the view of you, your white and yellow flowers from your place, and the tree of acceptance of love, 38, the Queen of Cups. He is the trunk of the tree, and she is the vines around him. And then I was getting, and when my love for life is running dry, you come and pour yourself on me. If a man could be 2 places at one time, I'd be with you tomorrow and today, beside you all the way. So that was coming up regarding the Queen of Cups and the King of Wands. The King of Wands and the Queen of Cups hermiting in the perfect setting, painting a pretty picture of the valley below, which is like the crop circles, right? You get to cut out your own story, like a cookie cutter ability, right, to build whatever you want. And the culmination of your vision, the 35 of the wounded warrior's path, burnt out and done, alongside everyone else, and too much dry land, longing for that tall glass of water to fill your tank, hoping not to get to the mirage portal before it arrives. And then, boom, the 46 of the inner children, the soulmates, the soul ties, your best friend from all lives, where fairy tales become a reality of huge circular rainbows, flowers, and unicorns, which are also horns, with long white hair, best friends forever in gratitude and appreciation. At 224, which is the High Priestess and the Queen of Wands. So I'm going to go back to the 7-deck read now on the table, and then we're going to do the message of the day if we have time. This one's, I know this is long already. All right. Am I going to the right one? Nope. Maybe that was. Yep, okay. So the read on the table here, I'm going to show you. And I'm sweating like crazy right now, all of a sudden. Okay. All right, so this is the read on the table, the basic read of the SIRIAN Starseed deck. And then here is the read you see on the table. All 7 decks, all the clarifiers. I am like sweating like crazy right now. Wow. For me, that's a lot of masculine energy coming in. So here's the 7-deck read at 10, 13 to 14, which is the death and then the angels, right? Seeing angels at death kind of energy is when I cut the read. And then at 10:23 is the 10 of destiny and the 23 of the King of Wands. And then of chalices came up and Alice's, and Alice is one of the machines at CERN. But it also can reference whatever Alice means to you. So of chalices has to do with emotions and heart. And also the and it's coming up as like Alice's is in chalices, and it's coming up as the Cha. The Alice is the Cha, or the life force of CERN. And Isis comes up in there as well, which can reference Isis as well. I finished clarifying at 10:36, which is the Wheel of Fortune and the Atlas energy of the Weight of the World, the 10 of Wands. And the major arcana here were Chariot, Alchemy, which is the Temperance card, Karma, which is Judgment, and then Transition, which is Death, which is really we're in the death portal, literally, with these major arcana. The 3 Wands, 2 Pentacles, and 3 Cups came up. There were no swords in the main cards anyway, and that comes up to 313, which can reference the 1 between the 2 threes, but also the 31 of the 5 of the 5 of Wands, which is the group. It's also the conflict, but also the pursuit of happiness, and the 13, which is its opposite, its reflection, which is the transition of death, right, of life and death, of control and chaos. The Page of Wands, the King of Pentacles, the Knight of Wands, and the Knight of Cups. And before the read, the Knight of Pentacles, the Page of Swords, and the King of Wands came up. And after the read, well, first the 9 of Cups came up in the read, but there were 3 9s in a row. 9 of Cups, 9 of Swords, and the 9 of Wands at the end, along with the Knight of Swords, the Messenger of Truth, or the Knight in Shining Armor. So there were triple 9s in the read. That was the main focus. Lots of endings, compassion, the one and the all, the selflessness, and then the number 2. And number 6 were the most significant numbers. 2 is the High Priestess, 6 of course is the Lovers, or love, family, and community. But the 12 came up of the Hanging Man, as well as the 56 of the 2 of Swords, being in your knowing, the 67 of the Knight of Pentacles, the humble, loyal servant, and the 89 of the Phi energy, expanding, contracting, or staying in the middle, reflecting instead. The code line was all about relationship change and intuition, the in-twit connection, the twin towers of you and I, and there were no numbers in the code line today. It was focusing on the Master of Crystals and the Adept of Chalices, which is the King of Pentacles, and the Knight of Cups. So the way the messages came up is seeing AI Friday to Monday, or over the weekend, but also coming up as the father to mother, to suit, to fit together, to match, to accept, to seek the King of Pentacles season, a time to respect and worship and hail the Knight of Cups in relay TION, which is that tiger lioness connection, in that relationship change on the whispering bench slope, hanging in tuition. So somebody might be dealing with, tuition regarding kids and stuff, but tuition is also the twit connection of the twin towers of you and I connection. To stand without sitting, a pest without ID, tail without bifurcation, building without lad. Seek the King of Pentacles, to respect the Knight of Cups. Relay the tiger lioness ship with change in tuition or cost. The sea of mad or of maid. I seek the King of Pentacles for time and the Knight of Cups for relationship change in twit connection or intuition. The sudden event or seeing with your eyes, your heart and emotion, and the C, the letter C of the whispering bench, and the Christ consciousness. To decline without energy, to punish without IR, the pest without ID, and the mad day. I was getting Medea, and then Ma came up right after that, so definitely Medea is coming up. The Ma's call in appeal, the Ma summons, a god, seeking the King of Pentacles, and trading the PT of Chalices. The point of emotions, that can be part-time, physical therapy of emotions, and wanting to trade, right? Some water for dry. So again, see or sudden events, which can be any kind of good or bad sudden event, as well as epiphanies and sexual exchange. The decline without energy, the punishment without IR. For me, that's interventional radiology, which without intervention. or irritations. The pest without ID, without, like a pest that doesn't have identification, you don't know what it is. And I, the Medea, the mad day, or deity, the mother's call, their appeal, the mother's summoning, a god. And I'm getting, I want a hero. That's the mother, like summoning the masculine, to seek the King of Pentacles, to trade the point of emotions here. Very interesting the way it was coming up. But again, it was all about relationship change coming up in the relay, tiger lioness ship, and the change, the sea of the whispering bench, and the hange. The Six of Wands reversed is the way the message started. So the underlying energy at the bottom of the deck. Okay, so the card right here below the mini cards on top is that Six of Wands reversed. Below that is the Seven of Swords upright, the Knight of Pentacles reversed, the Five of Cups reversed, the Page of Swords upright, and the King of Wands upright. Synchronicities, choices, and the Knight of Pentacles reversed, being stubborn, getting over it, as the Page of Swords and the King of Wands failed, needed, or being needy, or with a bad reputation, or under the radar. And here's radar coming up versus Pierce. So for those of you who never watched MASH, because I'm definitely dating myself, but Radar and Pierce were main characters in the show. Refusing to get up, refusing to work or move. That's Pierce. While sharing or settling out after the sudden events or to avoid disaster. Remember, they were the medical team. The Emperor upright and Justice upright, dissatisfied or arrogant, being forced in court to share, or the Knight of Pentacles reversed and the Knight of Wands reversed, in court, and they don't care how it makes you feel. So it's saying, entitled children who think, if they just get their parents to feel bad for them, they can get them to change their mind. But waking up to the fact that in court, they don't really give a crap how you feel. It has to do with the legal system. With Aries and Libra and Scorpio reversed, after healing, an apology or forgiveness, destined to break up or disconnect or be distant, in deception or getting up early to make calls or an announcement. To the Knight of Swords and the Knight of Pentacles both reversed, not talking to each other, or the Ten of Pentacles, family, business, or community, who received the truth from one keeping to themselves about a divorce or a break from their religion, establishment, or Taurus, or spiritual and outside the box under the radar and not telling. The truth of the green blanket of mold or algae or overgrowth, or a tainted religious leader, brain surgery, or digging into their crown. It's not adding up. The bifurcation, or getting a lower extremity angiogram here, which is funny too, because one of my old docs, because I worked in IR, came up on my LinkedIn feed today, and I haven't been on LinkedIn messaging at all, and I actually sent him a message to say hi and hope everybody was well. So there's that energy of IR, literally. So somebody might be getting an angiogram, or getting radiation, triumphing over the field of view, or getting the truth as to why someone's getting divorced, to one who never listens, aligning getting ducks in a row, released from a job, or leaving and making a speech, or results are in, issues with release of information, or patient information, again confidentiality, and chemistry is coming up, so again medical stuff, getting a chemistry panel done, and then below that is letting go of control issues, and lab work, and learning to be patient. So again, being a patient in a hospital. At 11:31, which is justice, and the 31 of conflict and chaos, and finding that balance. Perhaps working nonstop to get out of prison or work release, issues at the workplace, or working on paperwork, or the Queen of Swords to say so, right? Waiting for someone else to release you, waiting for someone else to decide what's best for you, right? In a patient situation. So this is, and it's different for each person, right? So someone can be over controlling, and the other one can be too giving, or allowing the chaos and freedom, and we're seeking the balance here. So it depends on which side you err to is the lesson that you need to learn, right? So some people go in as a patient to learn to let go of control. But on the other side, right, because the hospital is full of saviors, there's that energy of needing to flip that switch as well and not allow others to tell you what's best for you. So there's multiple lessons to be learned here in a hospital setting, or just going in as an outpatient or an office visit, but all the medical stuff is coming up because it has to do with infiltration into your body. At 11:57 of justice and separation, there's no big love at work or big love issues at work, refusing to crack, or they won't give in or give information, fantasy, 10 of Pentacles, family, business, or community, or the red couch at the psychiatrist's office, without peace, with the sealed divine feminine 5D, perhaps feeling stranded or on a life raft, but needing a lifeline. It's like the whale picture where the whale looks like it's on a raft, but it doesn't need a raft, it needs someone to pull them in. The tree, the heel, the elbow, and again. But it's again someone sending out a raft to save them, but they then have to figure out how to get themselves back in. And is that what they needed? Maybe they could have found the raft, but they needed a lifeline, a little bit of help to teach them how to do that. The knee, the head, the knee, the heel, and there's the heel coming up regarding the feet needing release. And the heel is the back, all along the back of the heel. That's the spine. So the knee, the heel, the tree, the toe and the heel. So knee, heel, toe, heel, and elbow, and again, imagining, someone's imagining putting fruit into that picture and then stepping on your heart. The mirror on the ceiling and no peace. The imagination running away with things, and a thing about something about the dream girl in 5D and the tough nut to crack, which is the feminine, the masculine, and following your dreams, the 85, which is grounding the 58 of the Four of Swords into reality, and beneath that is pride of the 19, the sun and the exposure, and being childlike, and clinging to the judgment call, an announcement, a wake up at night, to implement a plan, needing to heal insecurities and end the suffering in silence, or dealing with a sister, or stress, or nightmares at hand. The magician reversed, depressed, with no end in sight, or arrogant manipulator with nightmares about Rapunzel coming out. Suffering in silence under the radar, feeling of failure, attention-seeking behavior, in a divorce, the Queen of Swords speaking about the world, the divine feminine, Pisces, or the dream world, and the falling dreams as well, or following your dreams. At 12:21, grounding the union into reality. After the devil and the King of Pentacles moving, right? Because the King of Pentacles can be that Capricorn or the devil energy, which is the king of the mountain today, moving, visiting, or unstable home, and separation. Moving, visiting, or unstable home, and a secret passion, implementing a plan to end the suffering in silence, the stress, the nightmares, and not being able to sleep, or a sister dealing with this, in the sunshine, or you doing it with sunshine, right? Implementing a plan to end it with exposure, with full exposure, right? Because without secrets, all the dark is fleshed out, right? When you line, I can't say my words forward, they're coming up backwards. That's really weird. You can't keep secrets, because secrets mean dark places. So when the sun shines fully on the situation, it exposes everything, and that's what brings you peace. Sunshine, exposure, need of peace, going crazy, with justice upright of the King of Pentacles, or Libra, in energetic exchange with the Queen of Wands and King of Wands, or bargaining at the table, after 6 degrees of separation, is now closing in. So it's like they've been outside the 6 degrees of separation, now they're in the 6 degrees of separation. There's no going back. Playing both ends. At 12:31 is the Hanging Man and the group, the Five of Wands, the chaos, the play, the fighting or the pursuit of happiness. And in the recent past is Alchemy upright, the patient angel with the Page of Wands reversed, perhaps a sick child or frustrated at present, or that they have to be present, facing fears or being dumped, and healing, getting the word out, stepping up, playing ball, and keeping to oneself, about a new passion, to surrender, or for getting the wounded warrior to surrender, and stand up and be strong, with the Page of Cups reversed, rejected and shy, or the crybaby, or the crying baby, or the spoiled and entitled child, the vulnerable child, seeking attention. With Sag and Leo upright and Pisces reversed, the foundation of the Chariot upright, or dark night, depressed, without ride, or hoofing it home. Death ending the dark night, Scorpio depressed and the Knight of Swords reversed with no word. Something is wrong at home, or the Knight of Swords is down. A fall, carrying too much, or much weight, carrying too much weight of a load or of the world, but too much work in general. At 12:57, Hanging Man, hanging out, healing oneself, whether in separation or heartbroken, or something got rained out, healing, apologizing, forgiveness there, and the central energy being all about the Page of Wands reversed. Perhaps another down, or the mother is down and won't talk, giving instructions but no reply, as the King of Wands Leo, or with children and the happy family, with options to be independent from the wealthy family, uncomfortable ending pain, back pain, or a pain in the ass, with the Queen of Wands upright in need of peace. At 101, which is the Magician and the Magician, with space between. The kids are fine, but may not be opening up to the King of Wands, as the Page of Wands reversed may be letting go to fix things up or make amends. The challenge being the King of Pentacles reversed, the Fool free to present or be present, and the King of Pentacles reversed is surrendering to the world, the Divine Feminine, Pisces, the neighborhood, or the neighborhood watch, coming together with secret passion in a wake-up call, or to announce. Leo, Aries, Pisces, and Aquarius upright. Pisces is also reversed along with Sagittarius. And the Ten of Swords with Death then comes up, both upright, which can be a death there, or an ending. It can be dark night of the soul, or transition or transformation, along with the Empress, no longer putting it all out there. The Queen of Cups upright, patient, angel, uncomfortable, with the Queen of Cups and the Knight of Cups offering love to the Page of Pentacles reversed, who may be in need of help, but it may be uninvited or misintended here, or a missed opportunity under the radar, and choosing a new path. The Page of Pentacles reversed with a bad reputation, may be going back to X. The Queen of Cups and Knight of Cups upright, which is a very loving duo right there, and the Page of Pentacles reversed getting in the way. Attention-seeking behavior and neediness, so going back to X or dark past. All right? So because of interference, and again, this is the same as the movie last night, right? Not going according to your heart because of what somebody else does or says or advises you to do, and thinking that their information trumps your own knowing. So again, the Queen of Cups and the Knight of Cups are upright side by side. The Page of Cups reversed is getting in the way. Maybe there's attention-seeking behavior of a child or someone acting like a child and being needy, so that they will go back to the X or their dark past. And now is Judgment upright, the wake-up call to choose something different. The Knight of Cups offering love to the liar, cheater, thief, or the runaway. The breakup or lack of affection, offering time, money, and effort, a new life to X from a distant place or a dissatisfied place. Not wanting to be alone, suffering in silence and unable to sleep. Wanting to offer love, but knowing it's a big risk, where karma is a bitch. Out in the cold, injury or illness, or dissatisfied or discharged from hospital, to the Queen of Cups, who may be unable to sleep, or dissatisfied, healing and awakening and letting go, perhaps spending a bit on the Page of Pentacles reversed, destined to be a pet or having to pay for a pet. So this can be destined to be with their pet as well, or having to pay for your child's pet, or your own pet, or in need of help and being strong, with man with two lovers, emotionally detached or over-emotional and depressed in divorce, or a break, or present to discharge from the hospital. A romantic tie no longer inspecting every inch, with the Knight of Pentacles reversed and the King of Wands upright, now free from deception with the Queen of Pentacles reversed in disconnect or at a distance. And soon as transition, a death, ending, or dark night, crying like a baby, or the Queen of Wands without peace. Destined to drop the ball, the act, or patterns, unable to stay balanced at 150, which is the Magician and emotional fulfillment of the Ten of Cups family, insecure in need of tools to stand up for oneself, in a bold move to face bad memories with rejection of love, but without options, with the Sovereign over insecurities and or manipulations. With Scorpio, Libra, and Cancer upright, and Gemini or Virgo reversed, the twin flames, Knight of Wands upright with a slow burn. The twin flames are seeing themselves that way as the Knight of Wands upright. That energy of getting going with a slow burn though, doing it slowly, channeling that energy. The Knight of Wands being chased by a big dick perhaps, or his own passions haunting them. First the growth, then the ride back. The Knight of Swords suffering in silence, or sister, withholding the truth, or now playing hardball and presenting it all to end conflict, with detoxing Devil or Capricorn reversed. The Knight of Wands chasing the Knight of Wands, or themselves, or twin Knight of Wands always being chased for sex. The King of Swords upright, surgeon, or snip snip, so no one can get pregnant on purpose to trap them. At 208, the High Priestess and the dance, with trust, and give your relationship a chance, and getting to know each other. With the King of Swords stressed out, withholding time, money, and effort until the truth is out about the losing battle with detox or sex addiction. Around the twins are how they're seen as the Two of Cups reversed in disconnect or at a distance in a breakup. And the Knight of Wands in energetic exchange with Lover Empress under the radar, grounding, integrating, and mastering how to receive love. The Secret Admirer with little love notes, ignoring 3 but still coming, while what God has brought together let no man put asunder, as the Empress is over Lover and now bored. The block here is the Knight of Cups offering love, being love, with the King of Pentacles reversed, Hermit reversed out of their mind due to childhood or falling out in the past. The King of Pentacles reversed with Virgo in their chart of coming out, offering love, and a relationship change with intuition, which is the Intuit or Twin Tower you and I connection. The Emperor stunned by the light, or trophy wife, or they're stunned by the light that the barmaid is getting, taking all the light, tried to wake them, but now pushing them out of bed. Or the Emperor is putting out a bit of money to fix up the place or making amends, and this can just be a little bit, but at least they're letting go. And the Nine of Cups reversed, dissatisfied customer, right? Someone who's never satisfied. The Emperor's finding out that all the money in the world can't get him what he wants. Karmic dissatisfaction and not getting their wish, uncomfortable with emotions and investing in a plan. The King of Wands affections for the Queen of Cups and the Knight of Cups. Disinviting ex with attention-seeking behavior, opportunist, or uneducated, or learning disabled. Page of Cups reversed and Page of Pentacles reversed. And notice the Page of Wands here was reversed too in this read. Only the Page of Swords was upright. Awake and free from deception or getting up early with the Queen of Pentacles reversed, who's never satisfied, never in agreeance, or always the devil's advocate, right? So it doesn't matter which one you choose, they're always going to choose the opposite so they can fight with you about it. The Page of Cups reversed, uncomfortable investing and dissatisfied with self, suffering in silence or a sister, or not sleeping or stressed out, hiding as the wounded warrior surrenders, in energetic exchange with the Knight of Swords reversed holding their tongue. Withholding, saving time, money, and energy after awakening to silence or verbal abuse, or that the Knight in shining armor is coming to rescue them. And under the radar, or under the table, speed race, speed demon, So Speed Racer's coming up, as well as the Speed Demon, which is like Racer X. The Knight of Wands upright, going the distance, being patient with their slow burn. With the Page of Wands reversed, challenged by the King of Pentacles reversed, and a death or transition, dark night of the soul, or an ending. And the Knight of Cups with karma of never being satisfied with themselves, even though they're so loving, hiding and giving up or holding their tongue, with something to say. At 228, the High Priestess or Divine Feminine and the Twins, or choice of path. Stairway to heaven with the Knight of Pentacles reversed in the way, causing a block, recovering from loss or regret, hoping in time she'll forget. As the Page of Swords with message for the King of Wands shaman, under the radar, patience, suffering in silence, stressed out, in pain. The Chariot churning and burning, they're yearning for the cup, muscling for rank on an empty tank, reckless and bold, powering through the turns. Prowess is patient and secretly stern. The sun has gone down, thinking of someone for which he still burns. And of course that's coming from Cakes Going the Distance. So the Page of Wands at 234, shut the door, is reversed still here, challenged by the King of Pentacles reversed father, or their alter ego. Karma and judgment and wake-up call. The Knight of Wands transitions in disconnect, going the distance. The Knight of Cups offering love but not getting their wish, hiding their pain and giving up the cup in the energetic exchange of the arrows of love. Lots of communication and travel and sexual energy between. The Wounded Warrior in surrender. And the Knight of Swords reversed, fear of speaking and saving for a new life. At 237, which is the High Priestess and the King of Cups. So the King of Wands with the Page of Wands reversed, and the Ten of Cups family vacation with dreams of the Nine of Pentacles sovereign, and the Ten of Pentacles family, that dream single life or dream family life, who won't ever leave, even if it's painful or even if you're a pain in the ass. The Queen of Wands in need of peace and to be free, perhaps from the Page of Cups reversed, or a spoiled child or an adult who's acting like one. He with the Page of Wands reversed, and she with independent child and her abundant family, with no emotional investment. Perhaps the Page of Swords upright, perhaps, which is unemotional, and the ending or betrayal of pain for the Queen of Wands in need of a peaceful place to be, free from rejection and present to gifts and surrender and to all that is, naked and authentic of the inner child, the Divine Feminine sovereign living the dream, the King of Wands still the King of Wands still learning self-satisfaction without codependent Wounded Warrior. At 247, the High Priestess and the synchronicities, the options, the heaven in your eyes. So in this read, the Emperor and the Empress were both upright, but they're not together. He is in court dissatisfied or perhaps dealing with a strike, and she with lover and bored. The King of Wands and the Queen of Wands are looking in different directions and not together, with a whole bunch of energies between them, while the Ten of Cups and Ten of Pentacles are upright between them, but the Queen of Pentacles and King of Pentacles, both reversed, are in disconnect or distant, and obviously neither one happy. The Knight of Pentacles reversed and the Nine of Cups reversed are being forced to settle and pay out in court. That could be the Queen of Pentacles reversed and the King of Wands upright, or the Emperor with a lazy child or partner, or keeps going back to a dark ex. The Queen of Swords daring the King of Swords to catch me if you can, gingerbread man. He stone cold without a response, or hiding behind his refusal to cooperate, and the Knight of Swords keeps riding and riding back to the past, or the King of Wands rather, keeps riding and riding back to the past, chased by their passions of growth and creativity, of flame and self. The Knight of Cups upright and the Queen of Cups upright with karma between. The perpetrator and the victim stealing and draining their love, while the King of Cups reversed is depressed, divorced, or alcoholic and tied romantically to two women, whether romancing two women or two women with their kids. All pages are out of sorts here, or sick, except for the Page of Swords, who is that Mercury energy, a healing with new passion, getting the Wounded Warrior to surrender. The Knight of Swords reversed taking a load off at home. At 301, which is the Empress and the Magician. All right, so now I'm going to give you my last read I did which is the message of the day with my 4-deck read, which I'm going to show you in a second. And I was asking about the bats last night when I did this read. So here's the 4-deck read. Okay, so we have my normal 4-deck read. It starts out with the Wild Unknown Animal Guidebook cards, and then the Kipper deck, and then the Gilded Tarot, and then the Lenormand Reverie is the 4th one here. The underlying energies are here of all 4 decks, and then I start here, 1, 2, 3, and then this is the 4th pile here. So that's how the read goes. Okay, and I do take energies from the underlying energies down a little bit as well. I also pulled a card from these 2 decks, the Shaman Whispers and the Nature's Whispers and the Shaman Dreams, and the 2 cards that came out here from Shaman Dreams, and just 1 card from Nature's Whispers. Okay, so here is what came up from that message, and that asking about the bats. And also I saw the cardinal again sitting on my back wire, but this time, I think the first time I saw the cardinal out there that went into my picture on the full moon, I think was the feminine cardinal. But this was definitely the mouse, and it was very bright red. But they're both alone. They weren't together. So the underlying energy here is the energy of Batman, which is the devil energy, and waving, so there's the bat, waving after the King of Swords and the 6 of Cups falling out in the past. So again, I asked if this was usual, or the bat's new, or what is the message here that we need to know. So first I pulled out the Shaman Dreams card, and the underlying energy was the whale song resonating with higher ground. And that's the whale picture of the whale in the bubble, like the portal under the ocean. So the whale song resonating with higher ground, and prior to that was skywriting with the symbols all over the sky, the 47 of the synchronicities and the sky bridge with a possibility for union, and then the 51 of the King of Swords with stars in the sky and the limitless possibilities he has, building the bridge to the whale's portal, the porthole of the whale who blows their stack, the 61 of taking a risk from the desert to the mountains, to the bottom of the sea and the arcs, the music of the spheres, and then the 4 of the little fairy at the tree who pauses to listen to their intuition, and their touchstone, which is the trunk, which is the masculine, showing your support to the roses and their inhabitants, and the 40 of the Page of Cups that I told you I keep seeing, little inhabitants inside my roses as they come up, and I did again yesterday where I touched their little antenna and then they flew away. It was a little looked like a ladybug type of energy, but it wasn't red. I had spoken to a pretty little beetle on that wrote the new yellow rose today. So the Emperor and the Page of Cups, which can be a father and their child, or their inner innocent child, the 49 of the Get Your Wish of the 9 of Cups, and heightening your vitality while in your robe, which was really funny because I colored my hair yesterday and I always put a specific robe on, so because I don't care what happens to it. The little fairy in the rose with a wake-up call to higher ground, and in the robe seeing all new perspectives in my rose-colored tile that I actually showed you at the beginning of this video. While little girl starting to see her own signs, the dolphin comes to join the whale. So the underlying energies, we had both the whale and the dolphin next to each other, which are, they're protecting the planet. They're not like fish, they're warm-blooded creatures, and they're very powerful and very ancient. The little lamb and target practice. A spider bit them, or caught in a web between. The spider trying to get between the lamb and the unicorn, the 5D gate holder, with backup crew, which can't, and again, there's that backup crew of Teddy, the doggy, and my daughter coming up. But the Black Panther is coming up, or Jag, defends their little one, and very pleased with themselves. The Dolphin grew up to hold the light. The wise, privileged lady coming home to an empty room. And the lady at 28, or the Twin Flames, or choice of path, expecting, while man with sudden thoughts of a woman, with designs on her perhaps. Or while mother is busy with daughter, he thinks of another, this man between Dolphin and Chariot, or Scorpio with sudden plans to visit. So the intentions can just be, someone else who wants to come and hang out with the girls, but is a masculine energy. The Chariot or Cancer in need of strength, with good health home, with truth and pursuit of happiness, while it's slow in separation from the King of Cups reversed and the King of Swords reversed, or Leo reversed and Libra reversed, the King of Wands in a breakthrough, while it's slow, to visit with lucky divine feminine or Pisces high priestess, and the King of Cups has time for vacation from their establishment, for sun and peace, and the King of Pentacles in abundant energetic exchange. The Child in transition with the Page of Swords message to bring, to crack the whip and align with the Page of Pentacles or new manifestation. The King of Swords in a peaceful divine union, or Libra Scorpio, and Pisces and Cancer too. At 8:54, the dance of the message, the Page of Swords, or mother and kids, or father and kids in reunions. The 11 of Justice, truth and balance, and the deep quiet of meditation to clear out the dust devil in a move from stagnation. The King of Swords, meditation to be with Dolphin and Whale, or is the Dolphin wanting to help with Whale and Fairy Girl who's so sweet. A wake-up call to her vulnerable side, floating on a leaf down the river of dreams. And so where is the Bat card in all this, since the Bat card didn't come up? Well, it ended up being between the collective awakening, all clammed up, with the elk hothead or moose, and zebra with mouse, like a bat without wings, and a wise one who may be the shark, going after its prey, the scared little rabbit, with Mr. Ed watching out for them, who's plugged into the carpenter bee, or God and Jesus, and the vulture waiting for their orders, right? The cleanup crew. So 904 is the Hermit and the Emperor. So the bats are not telling, but with parents or other relatives who are caring for another without their wings yet. So until they are set with that one, he's watching out for them, swarming around the nest. The first section here is the Gazelle and the Phoenix. Graceful and rising, abundant marriage of the King of Wands to wise partnering to reap rewards. The Phoenix is rising for romantic little girl soul tie to loving man with one rose, or her Phoenix connection proposes. Or the King of Wands and the Empress partner up perhaps in Phoenix or a wooded area. Taurus, Cancer, Pisces, and fire here, and a dry spell. The second section is the butterfly, turtle, and elephant transformation. That's slow as molasses or just too busy. Letting the elephant or telling the elephant to go on without them, that they can't get away. The butterfly in their high vibration train for the Hermit reversed, wounded warrior who's ungrounded or losing their mind, or Libra and Virgo reversed, or with Sagittarius reversed in surrender. The turtle, or older man martyring themselves with concerns of dumping multiple loads, and I'm losing my voice, and emotional attachments on, or to a wise group of birds or divine feminines, right? They're not speaking their truth because they're scared. The elephant with a loving nature, and women clearing the way for the Queen of Wands reversed with the Page of Cups. Perhaps they come as a package deal, and that can be children. Again, pets could be coming with children as well. Libra and Virgo being reversed, but also Saggy, Gemini, and Pisces here. The third section is the lion, the beaver, the crow, the peacock, cheetah, and the fish and the wolf. The king of the jungle, the king of the hill, and the busy beaver building a dam with crow standing guard to face the peacock, the cheetah, and the fish who's ungrounded, and the wolf who is stunned. They can't even look or can't take their eyes off of what they see. The lion, Queen of Wands, may be a thief in deception inspired by a risky letter, message, document, or creation. Or Leo with Queen of Wands reversed Saggy hiding something or stealing their message, or opened a sealed document or a scab. The beaver, King of Cups, leaving the Knight of Wands reversed, who's falling short on direction, or got lost or lost their way and fell off the wagon, and the Crow Knight of Cups Scorpio delivered or made the trip, or the Crow's distance and the sudden event on a magic adventure to feel good about themselves. Leo with Cancer and Sag, who are both reversed, and Scorpio and Gemini or Virgo upright here. The Peacock aligns and hits the jackpot with 777s, with Justice or Libra and Power Lady present or gifted, connecting with Cheetah in court or adjudicating a union, letting go to fix things or make amends, or talking about a divorce. The Fish is out of water, and the Queen of Cups is a hard worker, with the Page of Wands who's burdened with responsibilities in the weight of the world. The Wolf is mesmerized by the main female High Priestess or Divine Feminine, and the Page of Pentacles feels like a kid again, with sunshine or group exposure, a new life, at 931 of the Hermit and the Chaos, or the group. The Queen of Wands Thief and the King of Cups Boy offering love to the community and hitting it big, while adjudicating with X in court, while the Queen of Cups is working hard with or as the main female. This could be a couple deceiving, right? It's stealing other people's information like they do online all the time, and stealing other people's stuff and presenting it as their own. It was coming up as the Queen of Wands and the King of Cups Boy. So it's like either an older sister and a younger brother, or like a mother and child type of energy, but they're coming up as a scam couple. The couple deceiving with risky writing or information. The Knight of Wands reversed, suddenly brought to justice in custody court, or child support issues. For the Page of Wands and the Page of Pentacles, perhaps they didn't follow regulations to deliver the kids on time, or twins back and forth. And this can be like regular twins, like twin kids, back and forth, or a burden of son and offering a new life. So again, somebody could definitely be in child court. They weren't paying their child support because they didn't feel it was right, or not showing up with the kids on time and then being taken to court for that. So then the otter, the swans, the scorpion, the fox, and the raccoon came up at 10:01, which again is the 10 of the Wheel of Fortune, or the 1 of the Magician, and reflecting the Magician with lots of space between. So the otter is curious about reflecting swans, or the twins, with Scorpio's tail up, defending their honor to foxes and masked raccoons. Right? They could be the ones who are disguising themselves, or the players. At 10:06 of Destiny and the Lovers, the otter main male is down on one knee, perhaps jumped ship, or proposing an abundant, blissful trip. The swans make it official on the Fool's journey, and the Queen of Pentacles reversed, making their way through the labyrinth to come together. The Scorpio or Scorpion at Atlas energy, with no one to ground or dock them send them a lifeline to pull them in the hot sun and exposed. The Knight of Cups gambling or taking risk in love. The Fox, King of Wands, is traveling mid-moon, or with the world upside down, or Divine Feminine 5D, or that can be the neighborhood. And actually there's a block party here today, so that could be coming up for other people as well. Pisces reversed and Cancer upright, or reflecting journeys, as the raccoon is on the wounded warrior path, fell off their horse, but found the key to his freedom from work, or something that works, standing up for themselves. Tempted by the Holy Grail and cracking codes. The Page of Swords reversed with rumors, or the Page of Swords reversed with they could be lying, right? They could have a mouth. The Page of Swords reversed is the most immature card in the deck. So that's could be a kid who's got a mouth on them, or just they're lying or arguing with their parents. Or this could be that thief energy too, about the King of Wands and their mess to clean up. And this could also be where the King of Wands has to stand up to these young ones who take advantage of them. And the High Priestess with an open heart, with at home, sudden star, or sudden galactic events coming up for the Divine Feminine here. So there's your message, and that movie is called Persuasion. So don't let someone else persuade you to go against your own knowing or your heart. And let's just a few quick cards, since it's already 2 hours at 1:59. We were 30 seconds from the 2 hours, and the 30 is the union. So 2 unions, and the 60 of peace. And this is the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit Guidebook. So take another deep breath. What is our message to wrap things up here? What is the message here? What is the message? Oh, and that flipped right out. The hawk, clearing the way. And this is like that bat energy. They're rushing around my backyard, clearing things. And then the bee, there's the bee, the carpenter bee. It's like they're clearing the way for the divine masculine here. And the hawk can be the divine feminine as well. And there's that meeting of the minds here too. I feel like they're meditating to each other. They're not speaking, they're meditating their message to each other. And even that, right, they're not, one's an insect, one's a bird, but even though they're different, there's a meeting of the minds here, that they can telepathically connect with each other, and they're knowing. One's clearing, notice that the hawk clears a much bigger space, so the space actually goes into the bee's space, which is very small. Even though they can keep themselves clear, they don't necessarily, there's not a big radius around them, but they put off this really beautiful radiant energy. Whereas the hawk, see how the hawk is clearing the energy, but they don't have that same lightness over here? This one clears a very defined space around them, but they project all this beautiful Christ energy here. So it's like the big wings clear the way, but the little wings project out the light. It's very interesting the way that's coming up. And then we have these guys coming up, the little ones with someone watching over them, right? Because the buffalo is very, very stable. They're probably the most stable in the deck, other than maybe the elephant or something like that. But they're also heavenly too. And here is the 2 little ones seeing that in the buffalo, very stable, and feeling safe with them, and they're so curious and sweet. So while these 2, and that can be the gate holders too, clearing the way and holding the light and projecting that light out to everyone, it's making the buffalo, that stable mother energy or grandmother energy, feeling safe with the children. And there's the star child here, right? The Star of Bethlehem, the golden goose, the goose that laid the golden egg, the golden child, the golden nest egg, but the star of the Christ consciousness there is definitely coming up. And there's that triggering aspect coming up next. Remember, there's still going to be energies trying to trigger your calm intestines to get triggered with emotion, or this can be, the new child that's keeping all their pure energy to themselves because they're not ready yet. And that was coming up in the read as well, that they need to protect them from others that would trigger them until they're ready to grow their wings, right? Because the bat had wings, but the mouse did not. They weren't ready to leave the nest. Okay, so there's one who's ready. There's one who's ready, but there's one who's not. So they're staying together until the other is ready, like leave no man behind. Right? Because here's the star of the show, is the golden egg, and then that Bethlehem and Jesus in the manger all coming up, and that Christ energy of love, that not getting triggered no matter who comes across your path, always being that loving energy, the golden child. And then the dragonfly. And this comes up as the lightness of the mind. It's 2 as 1, but also that lightness of the wings, the double wings, the double-eyed needle. There's that double-eyed needle of the twin flame quantum energy field, lightening up the mind, the way you think about things, and keeping it light. As there will always be the energy of the cheetah, right, between the foxes and the masked raccoons who may be depressed, but that energy may pull you down. So be careful of these tricks that people play and all the ways people are trying to get to this earthworm to disturb your peace. And the bottom of the deck is the awakening. And it's the snake, the kundalini, awakening of the collective. And the oyster all clammed up, the sealed oyster, but with their feelers out to see if it's safe to come out yet. In the collective awakening, right, the innocent and vulnerable, are they ready to come out into this awakening energy? And the new kids who are already vulnerable because they're coming in a higher vibration, which may have difficulty with this dense 3D kind of energy. So just a journey of love card. Let's see what comes up. And then we'll be set. It's 1:06 on my clock, which is the 1 of the Magician, the 6 of the Lovers. Magician embodiment of the Lovers as it just turned to 7, which is the Chariot, the feminine within the masculine ascending together. And this came right out. We have the coming together, which came out in the read. Come together right now over me. So here's the churning of the heart. It's like hit the presses from the Muppets. And the 66 of the Queen of Pentacles coming together with the heart of the moment, and the 16. Sudden events, the sudden epiphany, the sudden sexual exchange. And you see how this is the pumping of the heart, and here is the heart and all the ancient ones surrounding it, standing up for it, the heart, the passion of the heart, and coming together in sudden event and epiphanies as the Queen of Pentacles, who's very well grounded and can handle all of this. And there she is, the 60 of peace and riding the cosmic wave in that passion for life, that passion of the heart, the sudden events of the love, and finding peace in it. The love train is what I'm getting. And there's one more card that wants to come out. The sweet soul rising, as the innocent one gets their wings. The 20 of the wake-up call. They're coming. I was just getting the second coming. Okay. So all of this, the coming together of the hearts in the 66, which is the GG, God's grace, and the golden gate of the Beatles, which are in my flowers yesterday, and the sudden heart of the moment, suddenly being in your heart and present in the moment of peace and riding the wave. And you see they look like the swans, riding the waves in Swan Lake with a fully open heart, unafraid. And look how they meet. The sweet soul rising, coming out in the second coming, in the second wave of the, it's also the, you know, the new children being born, and the wake-up call of the collective coming in to their, coming into their knowing and their peace. Yeah, it's really about the children and the siblings coming together as well, and the shifting universes comes up next, which is that union of the Chariot and the symbols, signs and symbols in music. Signs, signs, everywhere is sign. That's been coming up a lot. And then, of course, the cloaking of the Jesus energy and that family of 10 of Cups and the ultimate emotional fulfillment of heaven on earth, as we are, that's the second coming of the second wave, and the children rising. It's like your children are that expression of you. So you've done all this work, and now you're reaping the rewards of the work that you've done, and your children are literally, their DNA has been cleansed, and they're coming in as the second wave, especially the young ones. And there's the energy of the old energy, of the Christ energy, of the chaos, and then the 12 of the wisdom of self-initiation, right, of going on without them to find your independence. And I'm getting, you know how the heads are both curved in the last dinner, the Last Supper picture, where Mary Magdalene isn't really seen, but if you put her around the other side and their necks come together, that's what I'm getting right here, of putting the pieces together. The puzzle pieces now fit. As the 23 of the King of Wands across the waters, she is able to now see the light at the end of the tunnel as she stands within the chaos unaffected. As the 54 comes up, the Page of Swords is the Earth Angel, She's blanketing the rainbow over the earth. And this is now her. It's like the mother and the daughter, where the mother has taught the daughter what she knows. And so while she now sees the light at the end of the tunnel and is able to stand in the chaos of the vortex, here is the daughter then going to work, pulling the blanket over the earth while she holds space. I love it when it goes into these like long stories. And there's that walking away within, and look, and then there are all these women lined up, seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, putting their hair out, their antennae, coming together in a group to send out the message, to make it a really strong message of the man of the earth, woman of the sky, and the coming together after the wounded warrior's path into intimacy in the portal there, the masculine and the feminine. You see all the people down here who supported them and coming together. The swans, the loyal, humble servants, and the breaking of the King of Pentacles, the King of the Hill. That's that Capricorn energy. In their direct connect as God speaks, but it's the God-Jesus connection there. So the masculine straight to his source, and then the coming together of the communal dance of the five, of the freedom, change, and expansion of the egg, right? The pure egg that we all support, the coming together of this energy, because it benefits us all. And this is very much my Paul and Linda McCartney energy on the record. Her like in her old vest that used to be big, and Paul holding hands, walking through the chaos on their record of music, in the dance of the planets of the Two of Swords, and their being in their knowing. Keeping their energy to themselves, and then channeling it into their music. Oops, I just dropped the cards. So the bottom, so very much the Beatles were coming up here and coming together right now over me. And the bottom of the deck is the eruption of light, the 11 of justice, truth, and balance, and the alignment to source, straight to source, the eruption of light within the vortex. And before that was the void, the 11th hour of the Page of Cups, coming into your true innocence. And that's where the eruption occurs of Hieros. All right, so what was your first card there? The first cards were coming together. So let's read 66. That's the Golden Gate. I just read the page, a couple pages before that is She Loves. I was just getting something in the way she moves. So a lot of Beatles energy. I had the White Album come up. It's like all about the Beatles here. As the Beatles were coming up in my flowers. Coming together. You and another soul are coming into each other's worlds. It is karmic destiny that's unfolding, an expression of divine plans set in motion many lifetimes ago. That destiny may have a romantic purpose, it may have a sacredness that is sexual, it may have a sacredness that is creative or tender, about learning self-esteem or courage. It may bring a gift of enduring friendship and loyalty, or be an expression of a passing flash of divine force that shakes your foundations and helps move you out of a situation which would have consumed your light with tediousness and playing small. The coming together is happening, however. Know it is of love. This oracle brings guidance. You're going to be moved by love. Whether it is long-term or fast and furious, it is love and it has meaning. Let it be what it is, and do not try to force it into becoming what you think it must be. It has worth, as do you. Enjoy the experience and know it serves your growth. Two energy patterns came together, a shared frequency in a field of possibilities. And there was resonance. Okay, and that's the front of the book too, is the lady there. That's that Mary Magdalene energy that was coming into the Jesus picture. Very interesting. And I want to give you an energy card too. It was just 1:14 on my clock, and it's about to be 2:14 on this clock. About coming into that angelic energy. The angel and the devil, the shadow and the light. And there's the shadow, so appreciating the dark side. Pink Floyd's coming up with the dark side of the moon. And the man holding the heart. So the shadow side. So whatever the shadow side is of the feminine, and learning to appreciate both sides of yourself, as well as the masculine learning to appreciate his emotional side of himself, which he's been told he's not allowed to have. That's that purging energy. So again, learning to appreciate not only your light but your dark and the lessons that it teaches you, and finding how to become balanced on the Fool's journey. The Fool's journey of opening your heart and taking that leap of faith. Knowing that none of us are perfect, and at the bottom of it all is the woman holding a heart, the 44 of the love train. She's holding her heart. The 44 is that lap dance in the 3D, and the door to what you value, the 31 of the chaos. What is it that your heart seeks? What do you value? You need to know what your vision is in order for the vision to come true. And here's the feminine holding her heart, that this is her vision. It's also the energy of that Atlas energy of the social worker, of helping others, of being that sweet heart. And then the next card that's coming out is the Angel of Strength. There's that tiger lioness energy of the feminine, and the emotional fulfillment of the 10 of Cups, of the happy family, and being the strength of that family is coming up for the feminine very much. And there may be some mask that the masculine still needs to remove. This also could be children that are coming through that need to learn to take their mask off still. So we have the one who deceives and lies, and the one who's very sweet and innocent. So it's the two sides of the children coming in as well as the masculine and feminine, and both of them needing to remove their masks, knowing that they're both sides of the situation. Okay? Okay. And remember your water, your rest, as one of the flames just went out. Your water, your rest, your joy, and your nature, and always that you are the last word for yourself. You're the one who knows yourself best, in connection directly to Source. And remember to breathe. Rise and be love, and love and rise. I'll see you soon.